Hello, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. How are you? Jingle bell, jingle on the way. Yay!
Hello, Ian.
Hi.
How have you been?
Good. Getting ready for holidays.
Yes. I've just seen you last week with our previous session, and I'm very excited to be here again with YoRipe and MARIGOLD this time around to share with you guys some more exciting Christmas recipes.
Yes, and today's session is so exciting. It's we
Yes,
have someone wishing us Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you, Ina.
Merry Christmas!
So please switch on your webcam if you are baking along with Zong Han, and
Yes,
we
go
can,
ahead.
see your progress as well. So today Zong Han has been super creative. I was really impressed when you shared with me the recipe. I was like, this is amazing.
Closing in, you know what we're making today, right?
Yes, of course, because what is the trendiest cake of 2020?
It got to be the burnt cheesecake, I would say.
Yes, it is, right? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Lots of people try making it because it's very simple as well, and the taste is just top notch. So, Zong Han, what have you, prepared this to give the trendiest cake of 2020 a Christmas twist?
So to make it more festive, more Christmas theme like, right, I actually decided to make this burnt cheesecake and turn it into a little bit like a red velvet burnt cheesecake. So it will be red in color with like a beautiful swirls on the top. And I feel that the red color goes really well with the Christmas theme for this festive season. And later on, actually we'll be making the Parmesan biscuits first with the marigold sweetened creamer before we go on with the cheesecake lah.
Right. So Zong Han's going to show us two yummy baking.
Two for today.
Yeah, two in 1 hour. Wow. Right. So the first is the Christmas inspired burnt cheesecake. It's red velvet and matcha. That's using Marigold non-fat yogurt. It's very versatile non-fat yogurt actually by Marigold because it can use for baking, eat on its own. It has also the healthier choice logo.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you can definitely buy it and use it in many ways. Today we're going to show you one way to make the trendiest cake of 2020. And then the second recipe is the Parmesan Herbal cookies, which is really interesting because in Christmas, right, you may think, I eat a lot of sweet cookies. But actually this one is actually savory, right?
Yes, it's actually savory. So it actually pairs really well as like let's say before dinner, before your gathering, before dinner. It's great as a starter appetizer. Or you can just pair it with wine. And after dinner, it's also really great because it's savory, it's umami because of the parmesan, and really, really fragrant because of the herbs lah. So it's really nice.
Awesome. I can't wait. Shall we start?
Yes, we should actually. To get things started, right, in my bowl, right, you can see from the second camera, I already have my softened salted butter and also my Parmesan cheese. Okay, for this recipe, right, Parmesan cheese is quite fair bit, 75 grams to be exact, and about 100 grams of butter. But if you are not really into Parmesan, the pungent aroma, you can actually reduce it by half. It's all depending on the individual stuff. But we get this into the bowl, and also I have some herbs. So in the recipe, I stated 1 teaspoon of dried basil, but today I'm using parsley. So feel free to use whatever herbs you have at home or you prefer. I think basil goes really well, parsley goes really well. If you just have the general mixed herbs, it's fine as well. Yeah.
Yes. So just to share like what Zong Han is making now, he is starting with the herbal Parmesan cookies, savory cookies.
Yes.
So that's the first recipe we make because the cookies, we want to send them to the oven and then we'll show you how to make the burnt cheesecake.
Yep. So I'm really, really excited. So you just want to get the Parmesan and the herbs and the butter to combine everything together. So the key thing is to use softened butter here. And of course, it has to be salted. If you have joined my previous session just last week, I have shared with you guys that I love using salted butter instead of unsalted butter for my baked goods or for my daily spreads on my bread because I feel that it's more fragrant. It enhances the butter flavor, and overall in a baking goods, right, in your final baking products, right, it kind of like pulls in all the flavors together, gives you a more well-rounded flavor.
I see.
Yes.
And yes, the recipe is in YoRipe app. You can just search for savory cookie.
Yep, it's in YoRipe's app. If you want all my other recipes, you could check out my YouTube channel, my website. But most of my recipes are already in YoRipe app for the integration lah. So it's really fast-free for you guys and easy. So I just want to mix it until it's combined. So all of the ingredients is nicely combined now, right? You want to add your plain flour. So it's a really, really easy recipe. Just a few ingredients and you can make such a lovely biscuit, a lovely cracker for your Christmas evening to serve your guests lah, I would say.
Yeah,
so it's really, really nice. Something different from usual.
Yes, that you say that we can actually serve it as like with the aperitif before dinner, something to like the appetite, but it's still very Christmassy and light.
Yes.
And you can, how long can you keep the cookies for?
I would say if you store it in an airtight container, a few days is fine. Try to finish it within the first few days. Actually, technically, after a week, it's also fine. But the thing about baking goods, especially for fresh cookies or biscuits, right, is that it will tend to go a little bit stale after a few days. So you may want to reheat it or retoast it again in the oven to crisp them up and make it a little bit more delicious.
Yeah, Singapore is so humid, so of course, you know, it can take out the moisture from the surroundings, so we can use the oven to get
definitely. This recipe is really, really easy to make. You can just do it the night before your gathering or the day itself, because you don't really need any refrigeration for this dough actually. So you can just mix everything in the mixing bowl, just using by hand or by your stand mixer. And then afterwards, bake it once you roll up and cut it up.
I see.
Yes. So you see now, our mixture has been turned into this crumbly texture. It's time to add in our marigold sweetened creamer here. So this will add a nice touch of sweetness to the biscuits. And also, because it's a sweetened creamer, right, it gives that really nice, rich flavor. So it's a little bit more indulgent, I would say, but it's really, really nice and creamy.
Yes, kind of the secret ingredient to balance up the Parmesan, the savory taste, give you a little bit of sweet and creamy touch. Pardon? I say give it a bit sweet and a creamy touch to it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people just think that for sweetened creamer, you only can use it for like coffee or on Milo, on tea. But actually, you can do it for baking, like whether if it's savory or it's sweet, it's really, really easy to use, and it adds really a nice touch of richness, the creaminess of the final product. Especially, like, we'll be using some actually for our cheesecake later on, so you get to see how it is so easily incorporated into the mixture, giving you a really nice creamy texture at the end.
Yes, different ways of using the cream.
So my dough has turned, my mixture has turned into a dough. I just need to mix it more a little bit to make sure that everything is well combined.
So we have a question from Caroline. Yeah. She's asking, beside dry basil, can we use herb de Provence?
Beside dry herbs, can we what?
Beside dry basil, can we use herb de Provence?
Herbs from what?
Herb de Provence. From Provence.
I couldn't hear. Sorry. Just sorry.
Herbs from.
Yes, you can actually. You can use parsley. It works. I'm using dried parsley today. Rosemary.
Basil and rosemary.
Rosemary because it's a bit hearty, like it's more woody lah, and then it may not taste very nice when you bite.
Okay, so I think basil is recommended, and the other herbs, based on your personal liking, right? You can use it, but it may taste a bit woody. Like
yes, I would say mixed herb generally is fine. Basil is fine. Parsley, which I'm using today, is also fine. Rosemary, like you mentioned, right? I don't recommend because, as I said, it's a bit more woody. It's more hard lah. Then when you bite, right, it may get stuck in your teeth. Because biscuit is really dry. Then rosemary is also very dry, so it can get quite unpleasant, I would say.
I see. And we have another question is, can we replace with cranberry? So instead of using herbs, we use cranberry.
Like dried cranberries?
I guess so.
Definitely. I think it would be a nice touch to it, I would say. It's quite interesting, eh?
Yeah, very crispy.
Add a nice sweetness, a nice fruitiness to the cookie itself, to so-called balance the pungent aroma of the parmesan. So if you are not really into the strong, salty, pungent aroma of the parmesan cheese, right? I think adding some cranberry and cutting back on the cheese, right, would definitely help to balance it up more.
Yes.
So I'm just putting it on a surface because I put a mat for easy cleanup, and then I'm just using a rolling pin.
Yes. So Zong Han, I didn't even put any flour on the mat.
Pardon?
I didn't even see you putting any flour on the mat. It won't stick?
Oh, because it's a really, really easy recipe. I'm actually putting some just in case it will stick because of the humidity in Singapore right now.
Put some flour.
But this recipe is really, really easy, really versatile. You can change it up to however you like. In fact, most recipes are actually very easy and you can change however you like to suit your taste bud. And this recipe, the dough itself is not very sticky and it's very easy to work with. So you don't really need to worry about, refrigeration, chilling the dough and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I feel that is a pain in the ass.
Can you use a wine bottle instead of rolling pin?
Well, you could if you don't have a rolling pin and that's right. But I'm sure most of us have a rolling pin, like those that are watching right now would have, right? Tell me about it. What do you use to roll your dough out? Do you use a glass? My mom, in the past, right, she used like a glass cup to roll her dough out. But actually we have quite a fair bit of rolling pins in the cabinet. So I actually took it out and started using it.
I see. So feel free to tell us when you don't have the rolling pins, maybe you're baking at some friend's place who don't bake often and they don't have this. What have you used to replace rolling pins?
I've never came across it, but I think you could actually use your hand and press it out. It will be a little bit uneven, a little bit thick. But I guess it will work, right?
Yeah,
or it'll be more like a scone. I think scone works really well as well. It's just that things to take note is that the thickness of the biscuits, right, and also the cookie size, the cookie cutter that you're using, right, will affect your baking time. So adjust it accordingly. My oven is preheating at 180 degrees. Yeah, 180 degrees. And I'll be baking it for about 15 minutes but then let's say if you're making a really big biscuit or a really big scone, right, you may increase the baking time. If you're making really small ones like a dollar coin kind of size, right, 10 minutes should be fine. So do however you like it, just to make sure to eyeball it from time to time so that until it's golden brown. You don't want to make it burn, because the first time I made, I actually made it quite small and I actually burned my entire tray.
Yes, always monitor it as they go.
So I would say you want it to be about 0.3 to 0.5 cm thickness. Then you just use a cookie cutter. I'm using a round one, and then I'm just gonna cut it out.
Yeah, that's so fast.
So it's really, really fast. You can see. How long are we into this already? Like, how long is the show already?
I think 15 minutes. 15
minutes only, and I'm already cutting up. Usually for other recipes, you need to chill it, and then you will need to put it in the fridge for 30 minutes, roll it up, cut it up, dust it with flour, and then put it in the fridge for another 30 minutes, and then bake it. Too much effort lah. So this recipe is really, really fast free.
Yes. So again, if you don't have a cookie cutter, you can use like a bottle cap, right?
It works.
Yes.
So you just want to remove
some people, right, when we talk to them, they say they don't bake. They say, oh, because I don't have, all the baking like utensils, etc. But I think a lot of times We don't really.
Yeah, a lot of times
have to start.
we can just use whatever we have at home and improvise it lah.
Yes. Okay.
Generally, you just need the ingredients like the flour, the butter, for in this case the Parmesan cheese to mix all of the ingredients together lah.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, then other than that, just try to use whatever you have at home and make it out. So yeah, I'm just doing a really simple round biscuit today. You can do whatever, however you like. It's definitely fine. So the key thing when it comes to baking is that do not fuss about it. Just go with the flow. Do whatever you feel is comfortable or you have been doing at home, doing in the kitchen for many years. So if you listen from other people's advice, right? If you like it, you take it up and learn from them. If you don't like it, just do it in your own way. There's a technically right and wrong answer when it comes to kitchen, when it comes to cooking and baking in the kitchen. But honestly, we are just a home cook. I'm just a home cook. And at the end of the day, if the result is good and everybody says it's good, it's going to be good, right? Who cares if my technique is wrong?
Yes, I think it's enjoying the process. Also.
Yes, enjoying the process is really, really important.
Yeah, not to be stressed out if we're not using the the right utensils or the steps, the specific orders. I think we can really adjust to our likings because this is home cooking. We cook what we like to eat and in the way that we enjoy doing and what we have.
Definitely. So Singh, have you been baking recently?
I've not, but Gabriel has. So I help. Oh, sorry, I did help to put
you are one lucky
batter into the pan, into the muffin pan.
You are lucky.
I know.
You have such a nice, lovely housemate to be baking.
Yes.
Yeah. But do you do the dishes?
Sometimes.
You sure or not?
We used to have a dishwasher, so we just put.
I will ask Gabriel later.
Yeah. So, but we love baking at home. I mean, she's really great, and we try a few of your other recipes. Can I tell them out here? So we love your express tiramisu, the matcha tiramisu.
Oh,
yeah, the air fryer.
Trying out.
Of course, and actually, I like the cookie dough also brownie that you have.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good though. Like I made it once for last year's Christmas gathering with my friends, and they all loved it and asked for the recipe.
Absolutely.
Then they actually went to make it several times during this year, during the CB period, because they couldn't forget the how good it was,
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say that one. I was my friend who said that.
No, I'm sure. No, it's true. And you know what I did was during a CB period, and I actually baked with a friend who lives in Montreal, because I shared with him. I say, we have this new recipes from Zong Han. It's amazing. I said, do you want to bake together? So basically, we went to FaceTime and we baked your recipe.
That's so fun. So y'all did it over Zoom lah, I would say, because your friends in Montreal.
Yes, that's right.
That's really fun, really cool.
Thanks to your recipe, we get to do an activity together. Really.
That's great. Okay, anyway, I have knee up a portion of my dough out in the tray already. I'm just going to quickly put it in an oven for about 15 minutes so we can get started with our cheesecake.
Yay!
Yes.
So we have just like someone from on YouTube, BB998, telling us if we have no cookie cutters, we can just cut into squares by using the knife. I think it's a great alternative.
I mean, if you don't have a cookie cutter, you can use a bowl, a small, probably like a saucer. Yeah. You can just cut like that. Exactly. It works as well.
Yeah.
You could just use let me think. What can you use? You can just shape it however you like it. Roll it into a ball and then just press it down.
Knife, we can just cut out the shape that we want. We can make heart shape.
I mean, you see, you don't even need to roll it up, The dough is here, right?
Yes.
You can just, shape it up, roll it into a ball, however thick or however thin you like it, and then just bake it like that.
Yeah.
If it's too big for you, you just half it, make it smaller, then just press it nicely into a coin shape. It works as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really, really easy lah. Don't need to fuss about it too much.
Okay.
And I'm gonna set this aside while I bring over my cheesecake ingredients.
So now we are at Christmas baking session with Zata Yayami. And now we have sent just the savory Parmesan herbal cookies using Marigold beverage sweetener into the oven. That's just for 15 minutes, 180 degrees. Next, coming up, we are going to make the trendiest cake of 2020, but with a Christmas twist.
Okay, so for my burnt cheesecake, right, my Christmas red velvet burnt cheesecake, right, I wouldn't say it is totally burnt like the ones that you usually find right now. I would say it's just like a nice char on the surface because we will be doing nice swirls on the top, like patterns, like marble swirl patterns to showcase the red and the white, better like the red velvet, right? So I think it will be 很可惜, it will be a pity that if you actually just cover it with the burnt,
also don't want to be too burnt. I think it's eating burnt food is not recommended, right? It can cause cancer. So I think
I guess so, but burnt cheesecake isn't that burnt to the point whereby it's black like charcoal. So I guess it's fine. It's just slightly more brown.
But personally,
but anyway, this recipe, we are not browning it entirely, just a little bit at the edges to give that really nice rustic look. And also the great thing about burnt cheesecake is that it's a really easy recipe. It's very hard for you to go wrong in terms of the baking techniques, the mixing, the baking in the oven, the timing, and like let's say anything, usual cheesecake, baked cheesecake requires water bath, aluminium foil, you need to adjust the temperature, door to switch it off and the door open and stuff like that. A lot of I would say a lot of so-called ways to prevent it from cracking or stuff like that, right? But today we're just looking for something simple, something rustic, but at the same time look a little bit nice and different from the usual burnt cheesecake because we're making red velvet one.
So I have a question. Sorry,
yeah.
do we preheat the oven now if you want to bake the cheesecake?
We are baking the cake. We are baking the biscuits.
They're only making the cheesecake.
But yeah, if you are baking the cheesecake, right, you need to preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius.
200 degrees.
Yes. So get your oven preheating. One key thing I find to prevent it from cracking in that short period of duration of 25 minutes of baking, right, is that to use top and bottom heat instead of the fan heat. I mean, of course, this depends on your own individual oven and stuff like that. I recently changed an oven. The fan is a little bit stronger than my previous oven, so I tried it and it cracked yesterday. So I prefer using the top and bottom heat just for the cheesecake today to prevent it from cracking apart. But if it's cracked, it's totally fine because burnt cheesecake, at the end of the day, the key thing to burnt cheesecake is that you don't need to fuss about it. And as I said, I don't like to fuss when it comes to baking. So this recipe is perfect for me. And I just want to burn it a little bit at the edges to give that rustic look. Yeah. So not to worry. Get your oven preheated to 200 degrees Celsius. And also you are using, I'm using a 6-inch removable cake pan. So I actually grease it and then line paper liners.
Zong Han.
Yeah?
Do we need a water bath underneath?
No, we don't need a water bath. As I mentioned, the key thing to burnt cheesecake is that it is fast-free, okay? You don't really need to matter about the mixing technique. You don't really need to matter about whether it will crack, whether it will be chao da burn, or whether it will be underbaked and stuff like that. So we don't need a water bath. It's a really fast-free recipe for this festive season. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I got all my ingredients here today ready. I'm just gonna start off with my mixing bowl. Here I have some softened butter and also cream cheese. So cream cheese is about 350 grams. Butter is just 30 grams itself. So I'm just using I'm just using a hand mixer. I don't really recommend doing it by hand because cream cheese can be quite hard, I would say, even if it's softened. If you have a stand mixer, use a stand mixer. If you have a hand mixer, use a hand mixer. If you really don't have a skill to make it, you can do it by hand, but you will need some time and effort.
Like me. I made your burnt cheesecake recipe too.
Yeah. I'll be adding about 60 grams of custard sugar. And then we'll be using the Marigold sweetened creamer, about 40 ml or 40 grams. So it adds a nice touch of sweetness and helps to, make it more creamy and luscious. Okay, I'm just going to use a hand mixer to quickly beat it up. For cheesecake, right, you don't really need to beat until it is like fluffy, like butter cake and stuff like that. You just want everything to be incorporated and dissolved, like the sugar to be dissolved. Because if we incorporate too much air, there'll be too much air pockets later on, and you'll have like very ugly, large bubbles on the surface, which is not very nice.
So those of you who are using a mixer, yes, you can start mixing now. We have the butter, we have the cream cheese, we have sugar, and as well as the sweetened Marigold sweetened beverage creamer. This is our first step of making the burnt cheesecake.
So Xingyan, have you planned your Christmas gathering already, or are you planning to do anything?
Yeah, I definitely want to do something. I have one gathering planned, which I'll be cooking for 4 people.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they are all startup founders.
like you, I would say.
Yeah, so they are coming to my kitchen because every time if we do gathering outside, I'll complain about it. So they say, why don't we just cook for us?
Okay, anyway, it's time to add our beaten eggs. I have 3 eggs here, and I added some vanilla extract into the measuring cup along with the eggs. And I'll beat them up before I actually add them gradually as I mix in. If you have been with me for the last session last week, I would have shared that not to actually add all your eggs in one go into the cake batter, or in this case, the cream cheese batter, because it may curdle, and then once it's curdled, right, later when you bake it in the oven, right, it may have unevenness of like a black spots, which is very ugly, I would say. So you want to make sure to emulsify your egg and mixture really well by adding it gradually at a time. So you can do it in 2 ways. One is cracking 1 egg at a time. Another way is to crack everything into a measuring cup or into a bowl, beat them up, then add them gradually as you mix it in.
Yeah. So we're gradually adding the eggs to the butter and cream cheese mixture. So Zong Han has also the original Basque burnt cheesecake recipe. If you like, it's also in YoRipe app. I've tried that. I love it. I eat it even for breakfast. And we forgot to share that we are going to actually give out a cheesecake later, baked by Zong Han. What you've seen here, Zong Han has pre-baked 1 cheesecake because of time. So we're going to give out that cheesecake, okay, at the end of this bake along. So stay tuned to find out how you can win this cheesecake, as well as the savory Parmesan herbal cookies that are currently being baked in the oven.
Yep. Anyway, be sure to just scrape it down once in a while so that everything will be nicely combined.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me check on my... yes. What question you want to ask?
What parchment paper are you using?
Just normal wax paper that you can get from the baking store.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah. Honestly, I know there are different grades. So the one that I really like, actually, it's a little bit like a trial and error thing, because it always says, it's parchment paper, baking paper, wax paper, right? But sometimes it's a little bit different, I know. So I like my parchment paper to be like smooth on both sides. There are some brands, right, there's only wax or smooth on one side. Then the other side, right, it's rough. So sometimes when you forget and you use the rough side, right, your batter sticks. added. And then sometimes it's not enough, right? Even if it's on a smooth side, right? It's not enough. It's not non-stick enough, right? And you'll still stick at the end of the day. So I really like to use those that are like, you know, glossy and smooth on both sides. So it will confirm plus chalk, right? Be able to remove it easily even without greasing.
Great, thank you, Zong Han.
No problem. So this kind of things a little bit like trial and error lah. So you need to just go and try it out. But I think once you know which brand you like, you will always be getting that ready. Yeah. Anyway, it's time to add in our Marigold yogurt. So I'm using the non-fat one and I'm using the natural flavored one. So it doesn't come with any additional flavors like strawberries or peach, but they do have it. If you want, you could use it and be more experimental. But I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use the natural one. And what's so good about using natural ones that there's no extra sugar added into the yogurt also, so you can control the sugar level or the sweetness that you want in your cream cheesecake. And also at the same time, right, whenever it comes to cheesecake, right, I will try to replace yogurt. I will try to replace heavy cream or whipping cream, right, with yogurt. Why? Because I felt that like, okay, for let's say yogurt helps to add a nice tangy touch to the cream cheese batter or into the final cheesecake, because it's nice and tangy. Helps to enhance the cream cheese flavor. That's how I feel. As compared to heavy cream. Heavy cream is good because it's creamy, it's very luscious. It has those kind of really rich taste in your mouth. But the thing is, I feel that yogurt has this very nice and thick texture to it that can mimic a little bit like the heavy cream. So whenever possible, I will try to use yogurt instead of heavy cream in my cheesecake recipe. But of course, let's say we are doing baked cheesecake today, right? Feel free to replace heavy cream with yogurt without a problem, okay? But then let's say if you are making non-baked one, right? This is where you need to take note. Because non-baked one, right, they use the heavy cream to set the cheesecake to firm up, because the fats will solidify after you whip it up. But then the thing is, yogurt doesn't solidify even in the fridge, right? So let's say if you want to use yogurt in non-baked cheesecake, you should add some diluted gelatin into the mixture to set the cheesecake up.
Got you.
Yes, but for today, we're just going to replace heavy cream with yogurt 100%. In fact, most of my cheesecake recipes, right, I will try to always use yogurt instead of heavy cream because it's healthier and also at the same time it enhances the cream cheese flavor too.
Thank you, Zong Han.
Yes, no worries. So I'm just going to add this in.
We have questions like, can we use low-fat yogurt too?
It's fine. You can use low-fat. You can use. I'm using. My biscuit is done, so I'm going to check it out before.
Sure. Yeah. So we are using a Marigold non-fat yogurt, which has no added coloring and no artificial sweetener. Of course, you can use low-fat yogurt as well. And then we have a question also on like Greek yogurt. Yes, I think Greek yogurt is definitely a good choice of yogurt to be used for this recipe too.
Pardon? Xingyan, are you asking a question?
No, all good.
Okay, yeah. So I'm using the non-fat one, or if you have the low-fat one, which is the blue tart one, right? Go ahead and use it. It's fine as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, my my biscuits is done. Let me show you guys a little bit.
Ta-da! Wow, golden brown.
It's amazing. It's really like pungent and okay, pungent is a bad word, right? But it's just you know how does salted egg yolk smells like?
Yes.
Yeah, so it smells really similar. In fact, the flavor profile of these biscuits, right, tastes really similar to salted egg yolk cookies, salted egg yolk recipes. Because it has that kind of very salty aroma to it. Salty and umami. So I'm just going to let this cool aside while we actually continue our cheesecake. And meanwhile, I will preheat my oven to 200 degrees for the cheesecake.
Yay!
Yes.
So We have already done our first recipes of the savory Parmesan herbal cookies, and now I
Yes.
continue with our red velvet and matcha cheeseburn cheesecake for 2020 Christmas.
Yeah. So I have added the yogurt already, right? I'm also adding about 1 to 2 tablespoons of plain flour just to thicken everything up.
Oh, okay. We add some flour. Actually, this is
Yeah.
really low carb.
Yeah, actually, in fact, if you want to omit it, it's also possible. But I just like to add a little bit to make it more viscous.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm just going to use my beater, the hand mixer's beater, to actually just incorporate the flour a little bit before I actually start making it, so that it will not flatten on my plate. Okay, it's done. Our base batter is done. Okay, so Xingyan, you know the pictures that I sent you for my red velvet cheesecake recipe, right? It's actually everything is in red, right?
Yes.
Yes, but today we're going to do something different because I just want to showcase that how easy to experiment with recipes. I just want to show you something a little bit different today. So to so-called like motivate our viewers to tell them to go all out with their creativity and do whatever they like. So today I'm just going to make it a little bit like a 2-layer. So the base layer will be the white normal cream cheese base, the cheesecake base, and then the top layer, right, there'll be a layer of the red velvet batter that has been tinted with red food coloring and cocoa powder, and then we'll finish it off with the stained marble swirl effect on the top.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we do something different a little bit today, so that if you want to follow the original recipe to make it everything great, go ahead. Just take up some batter, right? Set it aside and for the piping on the top later on. Or if you're like me, want to do something different from the original recipe today, I'll be doing a cone effect along with the swirls at the top. So to do that, right, I'm just going to take out about 1 cup worth of batter from the mixing bowl.
I want to do different layers.
Yes.
This is so
roughly
fun.
1 cup will be enough. So this 1 cup of batter, right, will be our red velvet layer, which we will be adding some cocoa powder and also red food coloring. If you have beetroot powder, you can go ahead and use it also.
Zong Han, we have a question earlier on. I didn't get a chance to ask you.
Yes.
Why is your YouTube and IG handle called Zatayayami?
I get that a lot. Okay, I get that question a lot of times. Like ever since I started until now for so many years. Okay. Before I continue what question, I will separate another tablespoon or 2 for the green batter, just to just to make it a little bit more festive.
Yes, we love the red and green.
Okay, why my channel is called Zatayayami? So I started this channel with 2 of my other friends. Okay, so my name is Zong Han, right? Zong Han from Zatayayami, Zong Han.
Yes.
So Z represent my initial. Okay, and then we have another T and another Y, right? Zataya, right? So we use A as like to combine all the words together. So it'll be like Zataya. So it's like me, my friend, and my another friend. But unfortunately, after making 2 videos, they'll be like, it's too much effort. I don't want to do it anymore. Then I'm like, hey, you can't just give up after you decided to take on something. So I said, if you guys don't want to do it, I'm just going to do it on my own and see how it goes. So I didn't change the name, and I just went along with this Zatayayami, and it became like my own name really, like my nickname. So that's how the whole name came about. A little bit interesting with some history to it. I think it's also very special. At first, I actually didn't really like it. I've been contemplating to change for the past few years. But as the years goes by, I realized that hey, it's iconic. People will know me because of Zataya Yummy, not because I'm Zong Han. Yeah, so I come to really appreciate the history and the name itself.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, I have some grapefruit coloring powder that I'll be adding into the 1 cup batter. You can use a gel, it's fine. You can use the liquid one, it's also fine. Use whatever you have lah. And then you just thin it accordingly to the redness that you like, the shape that you like. And I have 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and I'm going to sift it because you know cocoa powder tends to lump up really easily, especially in our humid weather lah. So whenever I'm making, wherever my recipe has cocoa powder, matcha powder, freeze-dried powder, icing sugar, I will sift it. Else, I don't really like to sift it because I find a hassle. I think I went through this last week also, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I don't really like to sieve my dry ingredients because I feel like there's really not the need to for normal plain flour or this. It's fine enough really. And nothing to wash another utensils, and then afterwards, sometimes I'll make a big mess with the dusting. So it's really pain in the ass. Okay, so I've added my cocoa powder and red food coloring. So I'm just gonna give it a quick whisk using the hand blender really quickly.
Right.
So what I like to do, I'm a bit lazy and I want it quick, so I will actually usually just take up one of the beater. So with just one beater, right? I'll just mix it a little bit first with the beater so that it will not fluff up the dust out of my bed. Yeah, and then I'll start with it.
We see the color has changed.
I'm just gonna add a little bit more red food coloring to get the shape that I want.
Okay.
If you want, you can use freeze-dried powder also to make it red. Strawberry lah, all these works fine as well. But they'll be a little bit different in terms of flavors lah. So suits you lah. Anyway, this recipe is really easy and versatile. Just a little bit more.
Zong Han, we have a question. Where can we get the coloring powder, the grapefruit powder you're using?
I got this in the supermarket though. Can you see it? So this brand, right? It's a local brand, right? It's a Singapore brand. It is being used traditionally for ang ku kuehs.
Ang ku kueh, yeah.
So they have they call it 这个是叫做大红色 super merah, which is like super red. So in red ang ku kueh color with this. They also have like the rose red, like a bundle color. They also have yellow. They also have the orange colors. So other than that, I'm not too sure what other colors they do, but I think, and it's not very expensive. It's like you just need to use a little bit, and I think this bottle cost me like $2.
Okay.
And I can use it for a really long time.
Nice.
So it's really good.
Nice. So we want to get the right for our red velvet and vanilla bundt cheesecake for Christmas.
Okay, so I'm done with my red batter here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. So my red batter is done. And you know, this is about 2 tablespoons worth of batter that I reserved, right? I'm just going to paint it with a little bit of green food coloring. Or in this case, I have some pandan paste. So I'm just going to tint it a little bit, just like a dot or two.
Oh, Zong Han, so we're using pandan, not matcha.
You can use matcha, you can use pandan, just use whatever you have at home.
Okay.
Really, that's like, I have never really fussed about, using what ingredients or whatever it gets the same effect to you, then just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you like to change up the flavor profile, you like to change, use ingredients that you already have on hand, go ahead.
I see. So that's 2 tablespoons. And then earlier on, we had a 1 cup.
Can we use fresh beetroot juice? I would say no. I'm sorry, because if you use fresh beetroot juice, right, it will thin up the batter, and it will not bake correctly, lah. Yeah. So you can't use fresh beetroot juice. You can use beetroot freeze-dried powder. You can get them from the baking store. So those works as well.
Thank you, Zong Han.
I'm just okay for my. I'm going to for these, right. I'm going to actually put them in a piping bag so that it will cut out evenly, neatly on the top of the batter later on. Wow, it started to pour here, man. It started to rain heavily.
On my side too, but it kind of stopped.
Okay, is that raining?
Yes, but it stopped.
It's really raining really heavily. I think it's like a good weather to like sleep in or do some baking.
Exactly. Good. Actually, very relaxing time to be just at home doing some baking. It's very relaxing.
Yeah, it's really very relaxing. Play some music, your favorite singer, and then bake a little bit. Have a cup of coffee or tea, or maybe like a cup of wine or champagne if you're feeling fancy.
We can do the cacao mix that you taught us last week.
Oh yes. Did you try it?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Yeah. Actually, I finished mine. I'll show you. You see, I left it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Last week, Zong Han taught us how to make our own cacao mix, which we can use it and like offer it as a gift, like a Christmas goodies for our friends, our families. So that was very interesting. You can watch it on day 1 of SG Cookathon 2020.
Give me a while, I just need to get this everything transferred into the piping bag. Sorry to bore you guys over.
I actually wanted to share.
Feel free to tell me, like share with me anything that you want to share with me, regardless of your baking ideas, or like what in any interesting encounters you have came across recently.
Yes.
Or like anything, or like recently what are you into baking for this festive season? I would love to know.
So one thing I can start to share is that last week, right, we had 2 semi-finals for our junior chef competition. And during the semi-final, we had a contestant who baked a chocolate lava cake.
Wow!
And it was so well done with a red fruit coulis on the side.
Really?
Yes, and it was, really impressive. So I think he's 8 years old this year. So really cute. And he actually started baking very young. He's baked a lot of other cakes as well. So I think, it's really nice to see such young age. We try baking.
I'm sure his parents must be really proud of him.
Yes, his parents are.
Okay. Anyway, back to the cheesecake.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, I'm using a 6-inch removable cake pan that has been greased and lined with baking paper. So really nice and neat. Just going to transfer the base layer first. So you're going to get everything out,
Yep, everything in the pan.
Yeah, don't waste it. It's good stuff.
Of course.
Okay, I got it transferred over already, and now it's time to add our red velvet layer that we have here.
Yes.
I'm just going to
if you don't have the piping bag, right, what do you suggest?
If you don't have a piping bag, you can use the measuring cup, right? Gently pour over slowly, or you could use a Ziploc bag also, and then after just use it as like a piping bag lah.
Okay, that's
But I highly recommend you guys to get disposable piping bags because they are really like so convenient. You can use it for so many things, not just for the decorations. To pile up batter, to drizzle chocolate nice chocolate over, you know, to do your frosting, all this. Or it's a heaven, you know. I even have different sizes. So if I'm doing like a buttercream, and I need a really big piping bag to pipe up all of the or for the cupcakes, I'll have a big piping bag. So like in this case, I'm using the medium ones right now for this recipes, and it's really inexpensive. And once you use it, right, you don't even need to clean up. Most of the time, you can just throwing it away because it's disposable.
Right.
I'm just gonna.
So just a quick time check. We are about 3:30 now.
All right, don't worry, we are finishing soon. So I'm piping my red velvet layer onto the base cream cheese batter right now. Just to be gentle, because if you add everything too much in one go, right, it will that area will sink in and it will not be very even. So you just want to gently let it drizzle over. Make sure to cover all the cracks and crannies of the sides to cover the white side. So I usually like to start from the sides first, to cover all the sides before I go to the middle.
Zong Han, can you push the pan a bit to your right?
Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Great.
Do we want to finish all the batter in this bag?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And there you can see that the red is really beautiful. It's going to come out really pretty later on.
Yes, it's really red. Will you be able to do some pattern here? Like if I don't.
Pardon?
Will you be able to do some patterns here?
Will I be able to do some
patterns?
Yes, we'll be making some swirls and pattern later on, like the ones we have seen. The pictures that I sent you earlier on for the recipe. So we'll be doing some pattern lah, but we will just cover it with red first.
Okay.
So once I cover everything, I'll just generally cover the rest.
So the base layer and then the red layer, and then we are going to add the green layer to create the swirl design.
Okay, so you can see, right? It's already, yeah. You can see, right? Let me remove the
Thank you.
Can you guys see better?
Yes. If you push it a bit to your right.
Yeah. Can you guys see it better here?
Yes.
Yeah. So I already covered the white batter with the red ones, and I'll be adding some white batter on the top for the swirl for the pattern. So you want to twist it gently, then you can start.
So Zong Han, can you describe the motion you're going? Oh, okay. So zigzag. Okay, very fine line of zigzag from one edge to the other, and leaving about, I would say, like about 2 centimeters between each, 1 to 2 centimeters between each line.
I mean, just do however you like it lah. Anyway, I'm just doing however I'm usually doing it. Can get creative, draw something up?
Yeah, can draw a Christmas tree.
So I'm just gonna turn it over and make it another zigzag pattern.
Okay. It looks like the sauce, like the zigzag on okonomiyaki. How do you put the sauce?
Yeah, it does look like it.
Mayonnaise.
Oh dear.
Okay, and then we add the final green batter.
Yeah.
For those of you who just joined, we are at our second Christmas baking with Satayami. And today we are making 2 Christmas baking goods.
I'm just going to use a skewer. Xingyan.
Yes.
I'm using a skewer to actually sew everything up. There's no right or wrong way. I'm just going to do it like I'm just gonna make it swirl, in other words, with another zigzag over across. You can, if you have your own way of making your marble swirls, right, just go ahead and do it your own way. It's fine as well.
You look like a latte artist.
It's really, really pretty once it's swirled. And I really feel, even though it's red velvet, right, I added the green batter just a little bit, right? It really makes it really festive for this Christmas.
Zong Han, later can you bring the pan closer to the close-up camera?
Sure. Give me a moment.
Yeah, I think those who enjoy making latte art, like coffee art, will have a great time doing this.
Honestly, I can't make latte art, you know that?
I don't know.
Somebody can teach me, please. I have a coffee machine behind me, but I just don't know how to make latte art. And it became to a point where, because it's always a hassle to steam the milk, right? I started drinking Americano and espresso, and that's it. That's like every morning. I just need that 1 cup first before I get to work, and then the afternoon I'm like, I need another cup. Yeah. So can you see?
Oh wow! Yes. Hold that. Yes, we are zooming into the camera. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm bringing it to the oven. You're gonna bake about between 25 to 30 minutes at 200 degrees. Okay. So depending on how burnt you want, right? You can even go 220 degrees. But why would you want to go in so high and get it so burnt, right? When you spend so much effort making the swirls. So I'll take 200 degrees is fine. It will brown a little bit. If you don't like it to be too brown, once a little bit start to char a little bit, right? A little bit golden brown as ages, right? You can put the aluminium foil loosely cover on the top to prevent it from further browning. But I'm just going to put it for in the oven for about 27 minutes.
Okay. So now our red velvet burnt cheesecake is going into the oven at 200 degrees. So hopefully your cake is ready to put in the oven as well.
Yes, if you guys are baking with me today, joining me to bake my red velvet cheesecake, right? Hopefully yours is in the oven just like me today. I hope we are not too fast, and I hope the pace is just right and just nice. But let me know if it's too fast or if it's going too slowly. Do you want to? Should we taste test the biscuits?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it should cool by now. Now is so it looks really, really nice, golden brown. So roughly about I bake mine about 15 minutes. So you can on OT however size you make sure that as long as it's golden brown, right, it should be fine already lah. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna try one.
Break one near to the camera. Can you break it so we can see it? Yeah. Can you break it? Break two. Yeah. In the camera. Yes. Ah, very crumbly.
Yes. It has a nice Parmesan smell.
Okay.
It has a nice salty, savory smell to it because of the Parmesan. But at the end of the note, right, you get the nice touch of sweetness, like sweet smelling, because of the sweetened creamer that we used in the recipe. So it's really, really nice because it cuts back the savoriness of the cookie. Otherwise, it'll be too salty, I feel.
Yeah. So you want to receive some of these cookies from Zong Han? Please now start following Zatayami on Instagram. After you followed, please send on the chat that you follow Zatayami, and then we will contact you to send you the cookies.
Make sure to tell Xing Yan, right, your Instagram ID so that they can actually track your account.
Exactly. So send us your Instagram ID on the chat and tell that you followed, and then we will select a winner for you so that we know who you are and can reach out to you to get your address and send you the cookies. So I'm curious about the cake. Can you show us the pre-baked one? No.
Let me clear my table.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. Zong Han just now say, right? If you pre-bake those cookies like a day before, a few days before, like you can also heat it up, like just before your guests arrive. Like if you want to do this as the pre-dinner, like aperitif snacks that goes along with glass of wine, champagne. This is a very good idea.
Yeah, because it's I would say pairs really well. So I'm gonna bake this and bring it for my Christmas gathering so that everyone can enjoy. But anyway, I'm gonna get my cheesecake that I baked earlier on, and I'm gonna make some coffee again because I'm feeling for a third cup for the day.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let me go and get it from the fridge.
I'll ask the question about the cheesecake when when Zong Han is back with the cake. We're gonna cut it together, okay? This is very exciting. So the bun cheesecake, the texture of it, and let's see.
So I baked this earlier on yesterday. I made this a little bit more weight than the one that's in the oven.
Wow.
It looks a little bit more weighty. But you can see the swirl is really pretty. Okay, I poked a hole just to see that if it's still in the lava stage or not, because I baked this longer a little bit. And you can see that it's really pretty because you can see the nice edges that's white, that's nicely golden brown. And then you get that really nice big layer at the top for the Christmas vibes. But if you like it, you can follow the original recipe and make everything to be red also can.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, so pretty. I think I prefer this one, Zong Han. So we have Jay telling us that this is his first cook along and bake along. So thank you, Zong Han. Thank you. All right.
No worries. So did you bake your cheesecake?
Can we see, Jay? Can you open your
I would love to see
webcam? Would love to see the cake in the oven. Yeah.
In the oven, okay. How does it turn out? Does it turn out well? The whole baking process.
Wow, Jay, yeah, we see it. Can you see?
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly slice it to show you the inner layers.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, we're going to cut it now. So some of you ask, right? What is going to be the center going to be? Is it going to be ooze like?
Okay, for this, right? Because it's going to be slightly less ooze because I bake it slightly longer. But depending on how lava, how molten you want it to be, 25 to 30 minutes. If you want, you can go a little bit longer to be slightly more firm. The reason is that because if it's too molten, right? It's best for you once you cut it, you eat all of the cake. Because once you leave it in the fridge, right, after you cut it, right, it will start to disintegrate slowly.
I see.
Yeah, so if you like it to be really molten, really lava-rich, right, once you cut it, right, it's best for you to serve everything at one go. Because if you put it in the fridge to let it, let it sit itself around for another 2 more days, it will start to, the middle will start to, disintegrate. So I baked this slightly longer just to show you the interior.
Thank you, Zong Han. Woohoo!
Give me a moment, let me see.
That's a big knife. Cuts well.
So I baked this about 32 minutes. But the 27 minutes one, and the one that I'll be sending out later for a lucky winner, that one will be 27 minutes. That will be more molten. So this is how it's gonna look like.
Okay, hold that. And can you tweet just turn the plate a bit so we can see the Oh wow! Do you see that?
Yeah.
So
it's really soft and it's already melting apart. I'm just going to give it a try.
Okay, we want to see the front camera.
Really creamy. You can. Red velvet is not just only the red food coloring, but you also get that cocoa powder taste to it, the bitter taste. So it hits up that hits the flavor nicely with the cream cheese.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really, really pretty. And the recipe is really very easy. If you like it to be molten, like the ones that okay, so I send you some pictures of the original recipe that is really molten and really soft, right? I bake it at about 25 minutes or slightly less, around there, depending on your oven. If you like it to be slightly firmer, so that you can cut it out easily and transport to your friends gathering or anything like that, you bake it at 30 minutes. It will still be soft, and once it touches the mouth, right, it will actually melt like a cream. But when you cut it, it actually sets up nicely, much nicer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all great tips. So please follow Zatayami on Instagram. Send us your Instagram handle. Tell us that you followed so that we can pick the lucky winner to win the cheesecake and also the savory Parmesan cookies. That will be great to be as a pre-dinner snacks or for post-dinner snack with wine. So if you have any questions, please type in now. We have a few more minutes with Zong Han before we start our next session, which is very exciting. It's about the junior cooking competition, which I shared a bit earlier on, that we are going to introduce you to meet our top 6 finalists that will compete for the title of the next top junior chef of Singapore. They've been selected from 60 entries and to over about 4,000 public voting and 2 semifinals with judges. Now these are the top 6, and tomorrow they're going to compete. But today first, you want to meet them. They are all adorable, passionate, talented. Really, Zong Han, you see them cook, you'll be like, wow.
I can't wait to check them out after this show.
Yes, please, and with your coffee and cake.
Yeah, definitely. And really, really excited and very thankful to be here today with YoRipe and MARIGOLD to be sharing my Christmas recipe. I know maybe it may not be really fantastic or impressive, but at the end of the day, right, I'm always trying to, make recipes, right, that are simple enough for everyone to follow, that are easy enough for everybody to make, and to share with their family and friends. Because at the end of the day, I feel that especially during this festive of giving, the joy of giving to other people your baking goods or as a gift or helping others is a really nice gesture. So I don't want to stress people out too much by making something that's really complicated or that's really fancy, but just something nice, homey, sweet, and easy to make, to share the joy with one another.
Absolutely, and also a healthy option, right? So
definitely.
I think
with the yogurt, I actually managed to reduce the calorie much more as compared to the heavy cream, definitely.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. We have many people who has followed Zong Han, telling us like Jessica, Ida, Frail, Caroline, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So please continue to share that you have followed Zong Han for the shout out. And then we are going to, I want to show you also how you can upload your Christmas baking if you bake alone, right?
Yeah. I hope you guys can, bake up something this Christmas, share with your family and friends, share the recipes to YoRipe.
Yeah, so if you can see my screen now, right, there's this Christmas baking 2020. So we started this challenge last week after our first baking with Zong Han. So you go to our challenge page, which is the second tab of YoRipe app, right? You open it up, you will see there's a few challenges coming up currently running, and you will go to the Christmas baking 2020. You just click on the camera submit. You can submit up to 6 pictures, and you can tag Zong Han's recipe. And you can share how did it go for you? Do you do any tweaks like the baking time, etc., design, how your family found it, how do you like it? And then you click publish. You can also share on Facebook and Instagram, so more people get to see, your cooking and experience the joy. Okay, so this is the new feature of YoRipe, because we want to help more people to home cooks, right, to experience and share the joy in cooking and baking. All right.
I'm really excited to see all of their pictures in the next few weeks.
Exactly. Please, submit here. You can submit anytime from now until January for this Christmas baking.
Yeah.
So Zong Han can go and check it out
yeah, definitely I would check it out actually. In fact, right after this, I will see if there's anyone that really posted it. And anyway, once again, I would like to thank everybody that is with us today, with me today. And thank you, YoRipe and Xingyan, for asking me to be here, for asking me to join you guys for this cookathon session. And as usual, my recipes are on YoRipe's app if you want. You can check out my full video recipes on my YouTube channel at Tatami. And also follow me on my Instagram at Tatami.
Yes, more yummy, delicious, healthy.
Hopefully more to come. Thank you so much.
We definitely will do more in probably 2021. We want to take a short break after this.
Yeah.
Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.